Hello, and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm here on the 1 hour time frame. We'll take a look at the short-term chart for BTC. I mean, after that sell-off on Sunday, after the Sunday swing high, which started into Monday and then continued quite rapidly into Tuesday, the market has given us a decent bounce, as you know. And that bounce landed in the resistance area I mentioned, between $101,760 and $105,000 essentially. The move to the upside is clearly a three-wave move up so far. One more high might give us 5 waves, but still it wouldn't be the most convincing one, especially until we see a proper 5-wave move up. For example, on the larger degree, this is 3 waves so far. And I mentioned in the previous update earlier today for members, I haven't seen really the evidence that the 5th wave down has started. So we're kind of, in that situation where we had a strong sell-off, we've hit a support cluster. Remember, there's the 55-week EMA here. There is a small micro target. There's the June low and so on. All of that's here. And so, of course, also psychological support around 100K. So just strong support, right? And so the market gave us a bounce, a decent bounce, for various reasons, right? But it's not like a full-scale recovery. It's just it looks like a careful bounce. It doesn't convince me yet. It doesn't convince me that a low is in. That's why I posted earlier today on X already. While we're holding the 55-week EMA, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another move below it before we then start a larger recovery, okay? Which could be after this C wave to the downside is finished. Now, of course, we can't foresee the future necessarily. Every Elliott Wave has some predictive powers, but obviously we cannot forecast every single twist and turn. It just doesn't work, right? But what we can do, we can identify the relevant parameters that matter. So, for example, what we track here on the smaller time frame is a bounce into the first resistance area between 101,760 and 105K. So it tells us if we break above this initial resistance, something else might be shaping up. The question is, would it be bullish? Would it be a low in wave 4? Would it be a low in this corrective pullback? And could we go to all-time highs? In the yellow scenario, further downside remains very likely. In the white count, a recovery is possible, but to confirm it, we need to see minimally a break above 105K, but also the right structure. I need to see a proper 5-wave move up for that. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 3-wave pullback. I need to see that. Because the risk is, if we just recover in a corrective fashion, 3 waves, we might just run into upper resistance. What's that? So the upper resistance area, I think I shared it earlier today. I shared it earlier today already on Discord. We need to be aware, yeah? It could simply be a corrective rally into upper resistance, which is here. It's roughly between 109,400 and 112,400. Because there are ways how this could shape up as a corrective bounce. What if this is an A wave down, this is a B wave up? So it is important to understand that as long as the price, even if we break above 105K, as long as the price rallies in corrective structures 3 waves, there is no real confirmation for a low. I just want to highlight the risk, where could a recovery attempt still fail? So I think it's just important to understand these parameters. The first key area here that we are watching is around 105K. That's also where the price found support several times before, in October, in September, early September, for example. Where is it? Somewhere, that's the July low. That's where we are around 105K as well, actually the September low is a little higher. But anyway, this year the red lines were support before. They can also now act as structural resistance, but really from a wave count point of view, for this to be a 4th wave bounce that we're tracking at the moment, the price to keep that perspective alive and basically an impulsive decline, we need to hold below 105K. Any break above is too high for a 4th wave, but it could be some kind of a B wave. So we just need to be aware there are alternative structures on the larger degree where things could still fail. Yeah, and I think in the very short term, all eyes need to be on 105K to the upside and the Tuesday low to the downside at around 99K. And my communication yesterday was around we could spend some time in this range because the market will probably try to make a decision here, and it might not be a quick decision. It might take a while for it to for the market to make a decision. So we could spend some time here because look, we came down to key support. Now we've recovered, but only in 3 waves. It's not exactly a V-shaped recovery. So we could spend some time and just chop around in corrective structures, especially because we are dealing with 4-5 patterns. So there are parameters until we break above or below. Yeah, we're just chopping around here. So we need to understand what these initial parameters are. And when we start to recover, then upper resistance comes into focus. If we break below the Tuesday low, it's a signal that the yellow count can just continue to the downside. And then next support is in the 96.3K area. That's the update on Bitcoin. By the way, if you're interested in an update about the larger structures, the daily time frame, and also in detail how a larger recovery could take shape, I covered that earlier today in a video on X, so feel free to check it out. I uploaded it before this one, so you can follow the link in the comment section. You'll see the overall context there. So hopefully that is very helpful. That gives you a good idea of the short term and the larger time frame. And then, hope you enjoyed the update. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.